Mankind does not live naturally. Mankind's achievement is to be highly unnatural. I don't want to encourage certain tendencies by that, but that it is unnatural in the sense of the typical ordinary physical chemist who is not a physical, is not really a competent physical chemist. What is the physical chemistry of the universe? We have the physical chemistry we identify with the non-living, that is, which has no antecedent as an organized process. Then we have processes which are living processes inherently, or residues of living processes. Then we have humanity, which is not quite the same thing as any other form of living process. So we have the three categories. These are dynamic, they are universal and dynamic. They interact. The universe is a composite of these interaction of these three phase spaces and everything that's derived from it. So now, how do we live? Let's take a typical case of iron. How do we get iron? Well, we could get iron in many ways, hypothetically. But how do we actually get it? How have we gotten it in terms of the 18th and 19th and 20th century? We went to areas where a lot of little animals and plants died. We went and they robbed their graves for iron. Now, iron is all over the planet. It's a universal thing. But why do we go and rob graves to get iron? As around the Great Lakes area, it's one of the great deposits of iron. And we rob the graves of the little creatures that died there. That's how we get iron. Why? Because the little creatures who used iron as part of their biological process would, when they died, they would have left a concentration of iron in their little dead bodies. And you can go there and say a prayer over them. So therefore we found that the sources of richest concentration of iron ores for us, such as bog iron in a New Jersey swamp, which is where the Revolutionary War got its metal, iron from New Jersey, from the bog iron swamp. So we concentrate on the grave robbing of living processes. And we find that we go and we take the areas which have the richest concentration of iron, which means the least heat, the least coal used up in order to refine the stuff, and we leave behind the things that are not quite as efficient, that consume too much power in order to reduce this thing to a form of usable iron. Now we find out that by doing that, we tend to exhaust the richest resources of various kinds, left behind in the graveyards of various kinds of species. That's how we get them. We have the lithosphere, and on top of this you have a biosphere, which is developing. It selects certain materials from the environment, grabs it, takes it into their bodies, food for this little creature. These things die, and they leave behind these deposits. And you go running around the world to find out what the kind of species was loose in this area, and they will give you the best concentration of this kind of deposit from the periodic table. But then you're using it up. Are you using it up? No, you haven't diminished the total iron in the universe. On the earth, it's still there, it's still much, but it's now dispersed. It's not in graves you can rob anymore. You have to go out and rob other graves, or you have to take other resources, and you have to get more powerful means of reducing resources in order to make them equivalent to what had been the richest resources of this iron. So the essence of the thing is, for humanity to exist, several things are necessary. Humanity must increase its power, measured in heat energy or heat power per square kilometer, per square centimeter, or smaller. And by increasing our power, by increasing the energy flux density of the power applied, we are able to make poor resources better than what had been previously considered rich resources. To do that, we have to develop infrastructure, a total systemic infrastructure. We have to develop an infrastructure which is able to organize the application of energy, power, in various ways, which makes it possible at various points in the earth to extract economically a raw material from the periodic table and to distribute it. Because you're getting it here, you want it over here. That requires a system of power to deliver this damn stuff. So therefore, you can take the increase of the energy flux density per capita and per square kilometer of the planet is a limiting consideration. So now let's look at economics from that standpoint, which is called the science of physical economy, which in its modern form is based on the work of many scientists, especially the followers of Bernhard Riemann, such as Max Planck, such as Albert Einstein, and Vernadsky. That is real economic science.